Happy Tuesday. Sorry I didn't get to everyone, for the show yesterday on the 4th of July, but it was the 4th of July. And for being 1,000% honest, she didn't let me. She didn't really care that I had a lot of racing to watch over the weekend. So it's been a busy 24 hours, but I got to hang out with people, do the 4th of July thing, and watch a lot of racing. So I must say the DVR did its job because it did catch some things that might be late, like really late, some of them to air, but it still caught a lot of stuff, which I was excited to see because again, it was stuff that I normally don't get to watch because it's on Flow Racing and Dirt Vision, and you can even see the commercials for it, like presented by like it's normally on it, and they aired it. So good job to CBS Sports Network for having stuff like that on there, but I think they need to do more, in my opinion. But that was just an outstanding group of races that all got caught up on the DVR over the weekend. The stuff I got to catch live, like there was just a lot of racing. I'm talking about live stuff. I'm talking about stuff that aired that's really late, but it still aired. And for the most part this weekend, the best part was all the racing that was live that I got to see was either road racing or short track racing, which I think puts on pretty good races. A lot of them. And that's super, super good. That we had another weekend of that kind of racing. And we did get to learn some stuff out of some teams, different drivers, manufacturers in some series. There's a lot of questions that got answered, at least as to how better things could be for them, how well they could move. It was a big weekend again, just all kinds of stuff, super exciting, just that I got to catch any of it. So fresh out the gate, want to get to the AMA Motocross Lucas Oil Pro Championship. That is a mouthful, but at Red Bud National, I got to catch the 450 Moto 2 that got recorded for me. I like that they have the 30 minutes plus 2 laps, bigger than the Supercross, which is, super cool to see them out there doing all that. The top 3, Eli Tomac won it by a mile, Chase Sexton second, and Justin Barcia third. So maybe second and third. There's some different names in every once in a while, but Jason Anderson finished, farther back, I think, 4th or 7th, one of those two. Don't remember off the top of my head, but he was back there. But again, Tomac, Sexton, Barcia, Anderson, it's the same names that we talk about in Supercross, just outside motocross. And it was, I was like watching, the different stuff because, outside, obviously you have weather, the humidity, the sun. So, the dirt and the surface reacts differently because of those things. So that just intrigues me to see how all that changes, because you see how it changes, Supercross in domes and stuff. And again, they are outside sometimes, but I just love watching them. And those are at night too. Let's not forget that. So see them there with the sun beating down during the day and stuff, it just adds a whole nother thing. And it intrigues me. And if that makes me a bad person for being intrigued, I'll accept that, because it's still really cool just to see how it all reacts and how all that happens. But good racing, American flat track at the Lima Half Mile in Lima, Ohio. Sorry, the other day I said Lima. Can I say, like Lima, I don't like to think about Lima beans, but there we are. I just can't remember the last time I had them. But American flat track racing was on Pete Gravel, which is the first one I got to actually, see on Pete Gravel in a really long time. So that was really, really, cool to see. Sadly, the race was from June 25th that they aired, and they did run on the 2nd. But I'm going to try to wait until that comes out to watch it, to do it then, because I like to have a feeling of how the racing was before I talk to you guys, and not just giving you results from something I didn't, see, which just feels cheap. And I think you could tell when I haven't watched it, which doesn't make anything better for anyone. But the Parts Unlimited singles, we got to see Cooper Kopp out there get the win. Tom Drain second, Chase Sadoff up there in third. So a lot of the same, familiar faces up there. And then the Mission Super Twins, Robinson first, Daniel second, and Mees got a third out of it. And he actually had a good run. Like I like seeing it. It seemed like there were people in much, different lanes. They had more lanes in that surface than they normally do on the mud. Again, all surfaces bring different things, and I like that. I also got the results for the Mission Production Twins, which wasn't on TV. But if I cover the other two, that one's not going to get aired all by itself. So I figured I'd go over it. Corey Texter first, Jesse Janis second, and Billy Ross rounding out, the top three. But again, it's cool to see it on that. Normally it's just been race after race on, mud and different, things mixed with the mud. So see the peat, gravel, and the actual dust and stuff flying around was, a different, it was a different type of race. And I haven't seen one so long. I'm being honest, I can't remember the last time I saw one. I know I've seen it, but it's been forever. And it was really cool just to finally get to see that after weeks and weeks of mud. And hopefully they air the one from last weekend this weekend so that I could be all caught up with that one and give you the results on that. Again, I just find it cheap to, not watch any of it. But if I'm going to mention the other two, I know that, again, the Mission Production Twins isn't going to get aired all on its own. It just wouldn't make sense. So I had to go over them too. World of Outlaws. There was World of Outlaws. Who saw that coming? Not me. Like at all. I did not see World of Outlaws, racing being anything that popped up on my DVR. So shout out. Never thought I'd say that to CBS Sports Network because they gave me 2 races. It's only 2. There was a lot of races. Yeah, so I know, but like I got to see races from the World of Outlaws, which is long overdue. Its first ones of the season. As you heard, I haven't said a word about them. So that was really cool. The World of Outlaws Late Models Dairyland Showdown at Mississippi Thunder Speedway in Fountain City, Wisconsin. So those make any sense to me, but it is what it is. The Case Construction Late Model Series. This one is for May 7th, which is the problem. Again, they were talking about Dirt Vision, showing all that all the time. So we know exactly what it's normally on. But for May 7th, the top 3 in that race were Mike Marlar, Tyler Erb, and Josh Richards rounded out the top 3. And then in another good race, we got to see the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars at Atomic Speedway in Waverly, Ohio. Great name for a racetrack, by the way. Atomic Speedway. Kind of dig it. But that was for May 28th, so at least, that was more recent than the first one. It's still way late, but Sheldon Hodenschild was first. Hodenschild, whatever. That's a big, long last name. Logan Shukar was second, and Jacob Allen rounded out the top 3 again. Good racing. And it's just so damn cool to see the airing. So if you're on Hulu Live, I can tell you at least go to it was either an auto racing or motorsports because they have 2 separate ones when you go through clicking through the sports categories. Got to go through both, but they will actually, you can find it. And I mean, it might take it forever, but they will record it. Really cool stuff. Highly recommend it. I mean, you don't get to see the whole entire night's worth of stuff, but the races you do get to see are fantastic. There wasn't even a lot of commercials involved in it either when they were airing, which made it even better when you weren't getting stopped every 3 seconds. Feels to see commercials. So shout out to all of them. Hopefully I get to catch more. Hopefully I'll either have Hulu Live TV, get to look it up or whatever you have. I'm sure everyone, every carrier I'm sure has a way to, search just the racing on it and to be able to record it. So if you haven't done it yet, do it. You could find some good stuff. You never know. That could pop up in there and make your whole entire day when you go, ooh, because I figured it was all, IMSA stuff because that's what normally pops up there, Trans Am, all that. And this time there's World of Outlaw races in there with other stuff. Super cool. The SRX Racing Series at the Stafford Motor Speedway in Stafford Springs, Connecticut. And I will say for this particular race, there was a lot more, I'd say, adult driving than there was the week before. So apparently when Tony said he had to talk to everybody, apparently it worked because they were much more professional and less just dooring people. No one, grabbing people by the collar and losing their mind, which is good to see. And, good racing, throughout it. And then again, you get to see some names in there too, which is really cool. But Haley Deegan was on the pole for, Heat 1. Brian Hunter-Ray got the lead from her on lap 1, didn't look back, led the whole thing, but Haley did hold on to second. So not bad there. Bobby Labonte won heat race two, with Tony Stewart second, Michael Waltrip third, Paul Tracy fourth. And then again, the main event, it was good, had all of its moments. After they combined everything, all the points you get, yada yada yada. That position plus that position equals After they did all of that, again, good racing, but results. Ryan Newman first, got the win. Congratulations to him. Look, it didn't take him that long to figure out how to drive these things, and didn't take him much longer to figure out how to win. So congratulations to him. That proves my damn point that he should still be in the Cup Series over a bunch of people that just got rides because of who they are. Or shall I say what their last name is. You know it, I know it's the only reason why I got it. We can think of, probably stop and think of exactly who I'm talking about. And it's not Bubba. There's a certain someone whose brother has a ride, and his younger brother keeps just getting rides for God knows why, because his results don't really ever add up. I mean, occasionally here and there, but never have been worth anything. Then other people get in those cars and run good, or people ran the cars that he's in now, and they ran better in them. Teammates are running like it's just whatever. But good for Ryan. I can see him celebrate with the kids, getting a victory. And it was a much cleaner race. Marco Andretti second, Paul Tracy third, Tony Stewart fourth, Bobby Labonte fifth, Haley drove herself up to a sixth, so congratulations on that. Ryan Hunter raced seventh, Matt Hirschman eighth, Justin Marks, first ever SRX race, got a ninth, Greg Biffle 10th, Bill Elliott 11th, and Michael Waltrip 12th. And their next race is this Saturday night at the Nashville Fairgrounds. So that should be, again, really cool. I liked seeing the packed crowd. Like, that place was stacked in there. People like the racing. When you bring them good racing at those tracks, people will come. It's just proven. I don't get why, NASCAR does certain things they do. I think at least do certain things to help it. But good on Tony to get, notoriety and stuff out to those racetracks, really, is my big one. Because not a lot of them get, big races. I mean, they get all that, but to get that, the TV crews, for national TV on CBS, to get to see it live, like, I think that's really cool. And again, it helps the tracks. More people say, I'm going to go back and see a race there. It helps all of that, which helps the racing world, helps the local area the tracks are in. It's so good. So I'm really, that's one of my favorite things, is to see all of that, because there's so many more tracks out there that could use stuff like that. And I'm not judging him for only having so many races here. I mean, they just started out. They're doing it smart. They've done it extremely smart to do, a few races, not overextend themselves or do anything to put themselves in a hole. And it's worked out really well. Do I hope they add another race or two next year? Yeah. Make it a little longer, so it's not just 6 races, whatever it is. I think that would be really cool, but make sure they pick the tracks properly and get the right people there. I think get all of that in line to where they could tracks that are good, well kept, but also other tracks that might be well kept, but don't get a lot of notoriety. Keep giving them to those things. No matter where you go, more people will show up to those local races there for series that aren't SRX, and we all know it. It's what they do, and I'm excited to see it. But to get away from that, no matter how I mean, I really did like the racing, and I thought it was really cool. To see stacked houses and all that when NASCAR can't get it. Like Knoxville in the dirt, barely anyone was there. I mean, for the trucks, like, they have a hard time in a lot of these places packing the stands. So good to see anyone doing, especially at local tracks, because no offense to the big tracks, NASCAR runs, they make way more money than the little guys do. And more people there helps facilities, the drivers, and everyone involved get them better contracts, TV deals, so we can actually see it. Now, bringing us on to racing from Silverstone is going to come after we get through the one Formula Anything race that wasn't at Silverstone. Which is like the one. There's a lot of racing at Silverstone this weekend, but Formula E was actually in Marrakesh, Morocco. So nowhere near, it seems all the races are there. But with DaCosta on pole, and then Mortara was first, DaCosta second, Evans third. On the podium there. It was the third win of the season for Mortara. Van Dorn, because I remember him from F1, all that, got an eighth. and all of them in the top that were at 0% energy left by the end. And that whole thing, like just having to figure that out, just sounds like a cluster in your head. Not bad enough, like you have to figure out gas and cars. Electricity, what if you run this hard too far there? Well, you're screwed. Like that's just an amazing series. And the racing's actually, pretty good if you get past the sounds, just the whining of them, turns some people off. Still good racing out there in Marrakesh. Glad I got to, see it, because again, they're not all on. Like you hear me talk about them, but you never get to catch them. So that was really cool to see. Then I got to catch the W Series. Finally got to see a W Series for the FIA. All women there, series. I finally got to see them, race. There was finally like able, like, thank you for being actually televised. Like that was really, really cool. And then it showed up in the, I had to set the DVR and do it, but it was there. And I was very excited to see it. Jamie Chadwick won. Abby Pulling was second. Alice Powell third. After, a pretty decent, race with people catching up. Pulling, she should have had it. Like, Alice Powell, like the top three. I mean, there was some racing going for those third spots, but it started ran at 14 to go. Good racing. Again, it was, there wasn't a lot of crazy action, but there were people that you could tell really, really had, a grip on everything, and we're doing fantastic in there. And if you get a chance, if you can find a DVR, anything, look up the W Series, because it was just really cool to see it, something different. And they deserve it, just like I apparently deserve to get Medicare assistance calling me 9,000 times a day. Apparently. That's, all I'm good for is for them to call me and see if I need any Medicare assistance from, to sign up, any assistance in that from all over God's creation, to include Canada, which is, super exciting, I guess, if you think about it. But they blew my mind and threw me all off target. We can get to Formula 3, which, again, it was a good weekend to be a lot of series, because you just don't get to see like a lot of them. And anyone that like watches racing that's listening to this, if you actually go and ever look, tell me how many times you can actually like legitimately find them. Like things like Formula 3, super bikes, which is easier to find, but World of Outlaws stuff, like it's really hard to see all of that, which is why I was so pumped on this weekend. But Formula 3, they had two races over the weekend there at Silver Spring. They had a sprint race with Hajar finished first, Martins was second, Yoshijima was third, which was not televised, but you got to see practice and stuff of it. So I figured, well, they had so much of it covered, might as well go through all of it. And the feature race had Leclerc in first, not Char, another Leclerc, at least not that Leclerc. O'Sullivan second, Behrman third, not on TV again. FIA Formula 2, which again, you never get to see really, which wasn't on TV, but they did, again, talking about it all weekend. And they had a lot of TV coverage there. We got to see all kinds. So I was just stoked about it all. But sprint race, Duman was first, Iwasa was second, Fittipaldi was third. And the feature race, Sargent was first, Pourchaire was second, Lawson third. Which again, good racing, which was all culminated with the Formula One race at Silverstone. And there's a lot of stuff going into that, wondering, can Max make up for the wreck from last year? Could he get the win? What would, Ferrari look like? Would Mercedes be faster? There's a lot of stuff going into it for all of us that pay any attention to any of it, or way too much attention to it like me. But there was a lot of questions, and no one can actually try to deny any of that. And a lot of things were answered. Some things we didn't get to see, and there were some moments that we were waiting for forever that finally happened to make up for a lot of it. But it was an exciting, a lot of things happened that were very, exciting from, just F1 throughout the weekend. Carlos Sainz got his first career pole over Max Verstappen, but 0.072 seconds. Nothing like beating Max for your first pole, and even better, when you barely do it. I mean, like, you got to be running on rails in order to do it. So he ran it and he got it. Both Aston Martins and Haas were terrible in qualifying. Yeah, which isn't helpful at all. But all four of those cars turned around. I believe Aston Martin's got ninth and 11th, and then the Haas's were eighth and 10th. So they're right there. And it was a great turnaround for anyone that watched qualifying. Like that was a super turnaround from where they were during qualifying. So I was happy to see that. Um, they didn't even make the turn one without having that wreck. You know, when you went, barrel rolling and, sliding on his head and then went up and over the fence, well, the barricade and was in between the barricade and the fence. And I have to give, special shout out to George Russell because you saw him stop and go running to make sure he was okay. And they ended up towing his car while he did that. So he had to, get out of the race because of that. So he's not going to be in the top five every race over that. But like that wreck there in turn one, like that was nuts. I was glad to see he was okay. I'm glad to see Alex Albon was okay because they both had to get, sent to local medical facilities. As it was like freaky and thank God it wasn't going at full speed because that was just at the start. So they were just going, and the car did what it was supposed to do, which is the super, part about it. And again, shout out to George Russell for getting out and running over to make sure he's okay. Did it cost him like all the points he would have had? Yes, but it showed some kind of humanity is still left in the world when it's very hard to see no matter where you are. But otherwise the race had some stuff. Lewis Hamilton had the fastest lap of the race, which it's just unbelievable with how he's run at some races this year. So good for him. Sergio Perez got driver of the day, and that's because he dropped all the way. One point was down to like 17th after all the cars that wrecked out were gone, and he drove it all the way back up to second through everything. So congratulations to him because you doing that, you definitely earned that one. But Carlos Sainz gets his first career win finally, so we don't have to hear them talk about that anymore. Where there's some headaches, but not pitting Leclerc right behind before the safety, like there's all kinds of stuff, coulda, woulda, shouldas, but it is what it is there. And Sainz had the faster car, in my opinion, over his teammate Charles Leclerc. That's for everyone else to figure out. But hey, he got his first win. Good for him. Perez second. Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton got a third. And again, he wasn't bouncing as much. And, who knows what would happen if George didn't have his troubles, Max didn't have his troubles. Yeah. There's stuff like that happened. But I mean, no matter what, if you had those two there, that was the top five. Which is still a good day compared to where they were. So congratulations to him on getting that. Charles Leclerc fourth. Max Verstappen was seventh. He got damage to his the bottom of his car from hitting a piece of someone. I don't remember whose front wing it was, but he ran it over and that damaged the bottom of his car, which ended up costing him, in the end. But still got a seventh. Mick Schumacher was racing to the end, but Mick Schumacher finished eighth, got his first career points. Congratulations to Mick. We've been saying it was going to happen. It finally did. So let's see how many more he can go get. Sebastian Vettel was ninth. Again, just like his teammate, finished 11th after horror days qualifying. And it was great to hear him screaming for Mick to pass, Max and, cheering him on to get his first points. That's really cool. Again, we're all rooting for Mick. You're not, I mean, who isn't rooting for Mick Schumacher to, succeed and do well? So that was cool. And then Kevin Magnussen, again, Mick Schumacher's teammate, rounded out of top 10. So, again, points for both Haas cars, points for one of the Aston Martins, which were terrible. And his teammate was right behind in 11th. So for them to turn around and get, 8th through 11th when they were way, to say they didn't look good, during qualifying. Super exciting to see the turnaround. And again, what could have been, we don't know. Max would have been higher, obviously, if he didn't have run over that piece and damage the bottom of his car. We all get that. We all know it. No one will deny that. But he still salvaged the seventh, which something that shows how good of a driver is and how good their car is. That even with the damage, he held off Mick, as Mick was trying. So lots of good stuff in there, though. Again, and George, who knows where that would have been? That would be a whole nother wrinkle in there, but. Take them when you can, and congratulations to Carlos Sainz for finally getting that first win, and Checo for getting second and the driver of the day, and Lewis Hamilton for getting the fastest lap of the day and that bonus point for doing it. congratulations to him, because again, the way Lewis and them have been running, I did not see that coming from him. So that was really cool. And you never know, it could be a turning point, for all of it. You never know. That one point can make a difference later. I don't think it's going to be a big turning point, but it was good to at least see him out there and his teammate competitive all weekend, which, we've seen them competitive on certain days and then suddenly not be. So to see it work out, really, really cool. Gets us to the Honda Indy 200 in Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We all know I love it out there. And there was a lot of just weird action. There was some things that I'm sure turned into actual fist fights this morning or tomorrow, whenever, yesterday. Yeah, it had to be today. They wouldn't hold a team meeting on 4th of July. It had to be fist fights, but Pato O'Ward was on pole. Will Power spun on lap 2. Rosenquist was out early with power issues. Both rookies, Illott and Kirkwood, were running right up there in the top 10, 12 all day. Both of them, end up leaving the race early after Kirkwood wrecked out on lap 30 or 31. And, Illott had, car issues other than wrecking, but had to leave the race early. Sadly, Pato O'Ward, after starting on pole and leading a bunch, had to drop out with power-related issues, which is a damn shame. And then we get to Andretti Autosports, which just, I don't like, they had to have killed each other. Romain Grosjean gets taken out by his teammate, Rossi, and then also rattled Colton Herta. Grosjean took out DeFrancesco, and they're all teammates. So that had to be just, whenever they had the meeting, that had to be fun. But they were just beating the hell out of each other all day. And some of them took each other out of the race, which does not help, the team at all. So, man, if I could have been there to see that, but it should have been fun. But that had to be a blast. But McLaughlin ended up getting the win. Alex Palou second. Will Power drives back to third after spinning on lap 2. So congratulations to him. Joseph Newgarden 7th, Colton Herta 15th. Jimmy somehow got a 16th, even though he sure was, he was running pretty much dead last. I think minus someone that was out, like those were only people behind him at one point, somehow got a 16th out of it. So don't know how he did it, but hell, take a 16th. Alexander Rossi was 19th, and then his teammate Romain Grosjean was 21st. Again, everyone was all over each other, like for the Andretti guys. So I don't know what the hell was going on, but that meeting room had to suck. Just saying, that had to be abysmal. But hey, better them than me. Xfinity Series 180 at Road America, 45 laps, stages were 10, 10, 25. Kyle Larson was on pole and got a great, start at the beginning of the race and just took off. And he also won stages 1 and 2. But, he did overdrive some turns on the last lap. And he had it. They didn't have trouble there at the end. Have to, restart. But, those things happen. They've happened a lot this year. And Ty Gibbs got around and made him, Larson made the Cup Series champion, the defending champion, overdrive turns. Got him into mistakes. So he did what he had to do, and he did it clean, which, again, if he could do that, I won't be so miserable on Ty, because he's talented. He's just leave it at that. I won't get in any trouble for saying but if he could drive like that and respectfully, I think he'll turn a lot of people around, because it's not his driving style. He's just a dick. It really is. There's no better word for it. So good on him to get around him clean and get the win. So Kyle Larson second, Josh Berry third, Austin Hill. Remember, there was a very good and didn't really much like road course racing, I believe, earlier this year. Got another good run at fourth. Brandon Jones fifth. AJ sixth. Riley Herbst got a seventh, so another good run. Noah Gregson got eighth. He didn't deserve it. I'll get to it. Jeremy Clements ninth, and Ryan Sieg got a top 10. And, a lot of people got taken out by Noah's move on Sage Karam. And I'm on Sage's side. Just like all of them there. Thank God Junior wasn't in the booth to have to, talk about it. But he straight up turned him in the middle of that. They weren't in a turn or anything. He just turned down and took him out, and a lot of people got involved. Saw Brandon Brown just sitting there, knocked, guys took hard hits at one of the fastest parts of the track. And they let Noah keep going. And not only that, finish eighth. And we haven't heard of anything yet. And we've seen them sit people for doing the same exact thing. And look at everyone that was involved because of that. Brett Moffitt Bailey Curry, Andy Lally, Noah Gregson obviously was in it, Landon Castle, Daniel Hemrick, John Hunter Nemechek, Myatt Snyder, Josh Balicki, Sage Karam, Tyler Reddick, Jeremy Clements, and Brandon Brown. All involved in a wreck that he caused by straight up just dumping someone in the middle of a straightaway. Really like to hear why NASCAR didn't stop him. Normally not one on that, but I mean, if you're gonna do fair and even, he did to Kenseth. Like they've done it to people. Like, sorry, you're done. He straight up turned the guy. You couldn't miss it. Look at the camera. You can't say it was a car thing. What, he turned around and finished 8th. Like, and they let him keep running. Like, that is why people don't take it seriously. And that's what pisses people off. There's aggressiveness, and then there's just blatant stupidity. Someone could have got hurt, and you guys have sat people for less. They're NASCAR. So see what they do to that. Wednesday is normally the penalty day. So hopefully they do something, because that was the dumbest damn thing. I mean, if they got Sieg earlier for what he did to whoever it was, Noah should have been like bye-byed, and they didn't. And I don't know what the hell, but he deserves it. Someone could have really like actually gotten super hurt, and they did nothing. And that shows just how useless they are. But on to the Cup Series Quick Trip 250 at Road America. I want to shout out quick to USA Network and NBC for not airing Group A practice before qualifying at all. No attempt. Let's just keep having this on regardless. Like, you guys need to figure that out so fans actually don't get cheated of things. Like, Fox didn't do really good either. You guys were off to a good start, and then that. Not a good start, but qualifying did happen. Chase Elliott beat out Chase Briscoe for the pole by 0.038 seconds. Lots of close ones in qualifying from F1 Cup Series. So we had the Chase and Chase front row, and then it was normal road course racing. Yeah, Chase was up front all of stage 1. Tilly Short pitted right before the end of stage 1. So they'd have, track position come the beginning, be right up there in the lead again when stage 2 started. So Briscoe got stage 1. It was his second, career stage win. And that's really, really cool for me to see. And Cindric was second, so congratulations to him. But another, stage win for him, second one, and the playoff point, which is the important one, because there's all those guys that logjam. They're like 7 points, like they had their playoff points, and they're all stacked in there. So one extra point can make all the difference in the world. We've seen it. Like, we've seen it come down to championships where people were tied and it came down to wins. Like 1 point can make a very large difference. So good on him for getting that. Good to see people up there. Joey Logano overdrove a turn, spun out Bubba, damn near killed, Kurt. Can't wreck Kurt, man. But Bubba did get him back. Can't tell if he actually got him back, but no matter what, he was right up there in him. And either he bumped him into the grass, or he just was so far up in him that Joey drove himself into the grass. But that happened. And again, if he got him, he got him. Didn't ruin his day. So I'm okay with that. You know what you just said about that? About Noah? Yeah. He overdrove a turn, spun him out. It went back around, kaboom. If he bumped him and he went into the grass, it kept going. Like, that's the difference between just turning someone in a straightaway and taking out 13 cars. So let's not get that misconstrued. Blaney won stage 2, got the playoff point with Joey Hand up there in second. He had a good run, better run than he got credit for at the end, as he was up there all day. Ty Dillon third, which is just mesmerizing. And so there was that. Bubba got loose and spun himself out, and then it was just, didn't get stuck in the gravel, but it was just, a bad day for him after that. A bunch of bad luck, and just overdriving stuff, trying to, make up for stuff, which causes more mistakes. But everyone does that, so I can't get mad. Made a little contact with Brad in the process, but Tyler Reddick at the end finally got his first career win, just drove away. I was waiting for a caution just because it's the only thing that made sense. And he's driving off ready to get his first win. Something stupid happens. And there were stupid things that happened that they did not throw a caution for to let it go back. So congratulations to them. His teammate also had trouble, but got himself, found an access road and got his car off the track. So they didn't throw a caution, and throw it to a green white checker because he was up by a mile. So good on Austin for doing that. But Chase Elliott second, Kyle Larson third, Ross Chastain fourth, Daniel Suarez fifth, Chris Buescher up in sixth again. So congratulations to him. Austin Cindric seventh, Michael McDowell in eighth with another top 10, AJ Allmendinger ninth, I believe they started the weekend saying it wouldn't do anything he wanted to do. So that's good. And Kevin Harvick rounding out the top 10. And then the other ones, Ty Dillon 20th, Harrison Burton 22nd, Kurt again had his troubles 23rd, Eric Jones 26th, Brad Keselowski, a decent one going. He's had a little bad luck, but it was only decent. Got 33rd, and the Bubba's back in 35th after everything. And this is our 5th first-time winner this season, and that's our most since the second season of the sport, as well as only the second season. So it's been like, 60, 70 years since that happened. So, and think there's still more time and races for us to get more first-time winners. So I'm all for it. It's good for the sport to keep getting first-time winners and new names and faces, everywhere. So I totally, completely dig getting that many winners. But, that being aside from it, I want to say, way to miss the mark for qualifying and practice on for USA and NBC. But, if it doesn't happen again, who cares? Thank you to George Russell for showing humanity, even though I don't think it should have cost him, the whole race when it was still perfectly fine. They just towed it anyway, and he was going to make sure, he wasn't dead in the car. I always hate when they do stuff like that. And I know I'm late, so it'd be Monday. Well, she won. I didn't get to watch all the racing I wanted to, but this one's on to Noah Gragson. And after the way, again, they traded Ryan Seek. He got parked, but they traded Kenseth. After Logano took him out repeatedly for weeks straight, and he T-boned him, and they parked him. How did Noah finish the race in 8th when you clearly see him turning him? Like, cars don't just automatically turn that hard right in a straightaway. Like, that was all him, caused that much damage, and they left him in there. Not only left him in there, they left him in there to finish 8th. And I haven't heard anything yet, and I'm not doing anything that makes me think they're not going to do anything about it. And people don't take you seriously, because the only thing that they've done so far this year equally was people that lost tires and those suspensions. I'm sorry, but if you're going to dump, park people earlier this year in the same series for the way they drove with people, I mean, when you straight turn right on a straightaway to wreck someone and take out that many cars, like, you have to do something, and you didn't. Like, that was a bad move. So hopefully tomorrow at some point I see some kind of penalty come down, because he deserves it and he earned it. And I'm not normally on that side, but if you're going to call it straight, for everybody, you got to call it straight for everybody. And he straight dumped him. There's no other fancy, politically correct, nice word you could use about it. That was a dump, which got a lot of people's days ruined, cost a lot of people a lot of money, could have injured a lot of people. And you did nothing. So congratulations, NASCAR, for again showing just how weak and spineless you all are. That, it's not necessarily, rule for everybody. It's only, applied to certain people. Congratulations on that. But with that, I'm going to dip out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget, all the videos now go on Facebook, Twitter, MeWe, Reddit, Locals, YouTube, and Rumble, if I mentioned them. They're also on there. So, follow along on YouTube and Rumble. If you're on YouTube, right, sooner or later, one of those corners, I think it's that corner, the subscribe thing is up there. So click on it, and then you'll subscribe. Then I'll feel better, and I'll stop saying, because there'll be more people doing it. Do it on, Rumble too. Good Pods. Even when you're done listening to it, you can find me on those two. Hit like, rate the thing on whatever you're on, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods. Rate the episode, like the episode on YouTube and Rumble, like it, write a little comment. That helps when they type in racing for it to pop up and show more, which helps this thing grow free and organically without having to give any big miserable people any advertising stuff. Help you out, help me out. Shout out to Ashley again, from Lullaby the Fear podcast. I appreciate the like and the rate of the last episode. Much appreciation. I keep saying it. Super looking forward to finally getting to your new episode on there. And there's a few other ones that I wanted to get to as well. I just keep getting stuck doing so much stupid. I try. But thank you for all the support from everyone. Don't forget races. I try to be on Twitter live, talk about that, start conversations. I put polls on there. Facebook won't let me. Thanks, Facebook. But Facebook lets me edit. So it's one of those. But follow along on everything. I appreciate the support. I'll be back hopefully with Walter if he is functioning this Friday. It's 2 straight he's missed, but I'll be back then. So enjoy the rest of your week. Let me know what you think. Like, share, comment, repeat, follow along on everything. And until next time, my friends, be good to each other. Peace.